Don't you dare tell me this time's different. I don't buy it, baby. We can't fix this. I ain't going back to what we had. I took off my rose-colored glasses. Now I see your red flags.
Today's guests are two of the most talented and definitely the two most handsome gentlemen that I have the pleasure of working with. Apart, they have many creative endeavors, but together they make up one hell of a rock band. We wrote my current single together, as well as some of my favorite songs. They are two incredibly talented musicians, and we work so well together. It is my favorite write on my calendar every single week. We have written my current single, Red Flags, and a ton of other songs that I can't wait to share with you guys. We'll get into all of that and more with my guests today. Apart, they are Luke Eisner and Gus Ross. Together, they are Voila. Guys, welcome to the show. What it do?
Hey,
Spinny,
wow.
man, you're our new PR guy. That was great.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Fun. Cool.
You got to intro the boys the right way, right? How are you guys doing? Where's everybody?
Fantastic. I'm in Santa Monica right now, as you can hear from the jackhammers and the ocean at the same time.
Oh no. And then over the other side of the world in Sherman Oaks, a fat 15 miles away from Luke, in our little wooden studio.
Nice.
Where are you, Spinny?
I'm in Nashville.
Right.
Back here for a second. Had 3 shows this weekend. We'll have 3 shows this next weekend. So I'm here for 48 hours, just doing the dang thing. Not getting groceries. I'm Postmatesing every meal.
The question is, do you have the membership?
The members. Oh yeah,
course.
Absolutely. Give me them
Yeah,
deals, son.
yeah.
I was looking
Absolutely.
at my recurring payments because you always get those advertisements on Instagram that are like, you have way too many recurring payments. Like, get the app that cuts down your monthly subscriptions. So I got that, and it was like Postmates, DoorDash, Uber Eats, like all of that. I'm a VIP member, so yeah, definitely contributing to society in that way.
But what else are you gonna do?
What's that?
When you travel as much, and I said when you travel as much, and especially you, Luke, you're in random studio locations around the freaking world. It feels like you just got to be like, look, I need Chipotle because I don't have eggs. I don't have milk.
That's totally it. And we'll go with that. I mean, I'm starting to chalk it up to laziness and lack of cooking education, but we will go with that beautiful answer. Again, Spinny with the PR.
Yeah, that's my excuse. So at least we have the same excuse.
Miserable, guys. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. Hey, guys, we just had ourselves a little release day this last Friday, a song that we love called Red Flags. I think it was the first song we ever wrote together.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Luke, maybe tell the story of how, thank you, man. Thank you. Tell the story about how we met and kind of how we hopped on that first Zoom write from your point of view.
Well, I come as a fan. So I grew up in Wisconsin, and a lot of my friends back home, basically, we all just get together and listen to country music. And we found Spencer a long time ago. And then when I came to LA and was doing sessions, and I was like, well, let me just reach out to people who I'm a fan of. And Spencer was so cool and replied, and it took us a bit, but then we got some dates on the book. And Red Flags was a guitar riff that I had been sitting on for a long time. And then when we were talking about stuff that you wanted to do, it just seemed to fit perfectly. And it's the best. I mean, I'm a huge fan of you because I love your lyrics. And that's the one thing that drew me into music. I always wanted to be an author. So when I hear people with really, really good lyrics, I'm like, I got to work with them. So it's a dream come true, man. Honestly, to see that song for how long ago we wrote it to come out is just great.
I know. That's awesome, dude. Well, first of all, thank you. That's very sweet. When you reached out over Instagram, I was like, who is this person? Because I went to your Instagram, I'm like, he has a ton of followers and he's incredibly handsome. So I looked you guys up, and I dove into your world and it was like, oh, these guys are great musicians and they're incredibly talented. So when we got on that first Zoom, I was like, oh, we'll see what happens. But I felt like we all kind of left that day like, whoa, we kind of get magic when we work together. It's different than other writes. And what I love about you guys is that you come from, in quotes, the pop world, right? Especially LA, West Coast. But Luke, what you said about the importance of the lyric and how we can still keep it country. If you listen to Red Flags, you can just lay that out like the script of a movie.
Exactly.
And that's what I think the difference between pop and country music is a lot of the times is the actual nuts and bolts of the story. So I was so pumped that you guys wanted to do that. And that's when I think we clicked and really found each other as creative, like, spark plugs for each other. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. I'm glad you said that too, because I think that's kind of the importance of writing a good song is you should be able to print it out on a lyric sheet. Because I remember growing up buying CDs and then taking the little pamphlet out and taking them to school and reading the lyrics because I wanted to hear my favorite songs, but I couldn't have, obviously an iPod in school. And that was when it really hit me that you should be able to print it out and read it and get the whole thing and enjoy it just as much as you would with melody. And this song does it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Gus, what do you remember from writing Red Flags together?
I remember from the production side. I can't remember if we were in completely different places. Were we, Luke? Were we in the same studio?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah,
we were in different places because this was COVID, heat of the COVID.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Is this whole song was written on Zoom?
Yeah. Was I in England? No. I can't
You
remember.
might have been, man.
We were. Yeah, something like that. But for me, the best part of Spencer's records is, for me, the production. It's like, how can we take this, country record and darken it up and like grunge it up and trap it up? Even on the first, one of the first demos, I remember, Spenny, one of your notes was, okay, what if that post suddenly has like a kind of hip hoppy groove to it? And so we flipped that and we had like kind of normal driving acoustic drums, and then we suddenly for a moment flipped to like a trap beat. And that for me is like Spencer's, you're always like trying to push the production, and for me that is like the coolest thing, to be given like an open palette and be like, all right, let's just take it where we want to take it and like not obey every rule that we need to. And that's what I love about everything you go for, man. That inspires me.
Thanks, man.
Right.
Well, and that's why I think I love working with you guys, is because you are so down to break the rules. And, I think you understand that there really aren't any rules. And I work with a lot of people in Nashville who say that they want to do some cool shit, and then you get in the second, like, what if that's a tech hat instead of whatever? Or like, let's put a bass drop, let's flip that and start rapping in the bridge. Everyone's like, that's not for me. Instead of just making it the coolest song that you can, they feel like there's a box and you got to play within the set of rules. And you guys have always been super down, because I've brought in some wacky shit and you're like, yeah, let's get wacky with it, which I just love. I just love that I have permission to play as an artist. That's not normal. So I appreciate that when I work with you guys. It's so fun.
I think it's a two-way street. I think we appreciate that you want to do something different, because I think the ultimate sign of an artist is someone who's going to keep evolving. I mean, I jumped on your train when Rooftop came out. You know what I mean? That was me and my friends jam, and it's like the amount of evolution you've done since that record. But that song still sounds as good as your songs now, because I can tell you meant it, and that was what you were, going to achieve at that point. And then I listen to Red Flags, like different song, but it still feels like Spencer. And I think your choices to kind of always go against the grain or to make choices that you want to make is why people probably love you. That's why I love you,
Well, thanks, man. Well, that's why I love working with you guys. And obviously together you are your own entity. You guys just dropped a brand new single. Tell us about, is it Imaginary Friends or Imaginary Friend?
You got it spot on.
Yeah, you got it spot on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is good. I was jamming in the shower today. I was like, oh, shit, they did it again. And who's the feature? Is it Violet?
Yeah.
Hey, Violet.
Yeah.
Hey, Violet. Tell me a little bit about that song, why you guys chose to put that out, especially with Hey, Violet.
Cool one. They so we originally got pulled in to do a record for them. And then we had a great session, got a tune out of it, was like, totally thought it was going to be for them. And then like Luke and I were stewing over it, and we were like, hang on, like, what if we wrote like one of our verses on it and like made it a collab? Would it work? And he was like, absolutely. So Luke does his thing, writes filthy verse. I'm like, okay, cut it real quick, send it over to them. They loved it. And they were like, let's put it out. Let's go for it. And, the rest is history. And that literally, to shout out them, Spenny, mate, they definitely dig into their stuff, because they are extremely cool. Two sisters, like one's a drummer, one's the lead singer. And then this
oh, dope.
Yeah,
I didn't
and this
know
guitarist,
that.
Casey, who's like a filthy guitarist. Him and Luke were just ripping in the studio the other day when we did the music video. But yeah, man, it was really fun.
Yeah,
it was a super organic way of doing stuff, like no like management or label being like, hey, you two should, do you know what I mean? But fun.
Right. Which I feel like are the best collabs at the end of the day. It's just buddies just getting together and making shit, which is awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think that way you can build a friendship aspect. And like, you know, because I was a fan of yours for a long time, I felt like I knew you before we started working because I followed your music. But like to be able to do the non-label setup sessions, you have like time to develop friendships. And then the song, if you're helping someone write something, you know, it becomes more like them than it becomes like some weird school collaborative project. You know what I mean? Where you're like forced to work together.
Exactly.
Like I always hated it. I don't know. I remember when in school they would like put you with people you didn't want to work with, and you're like, how is that helpful? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to go over to some random kid's house. His mom made terrible snacks, and you're like,
Jimmy.
right. Like,
oh, not Jimmy. Not Jimmy,
yeah.
who like,
sorry, Miss Miller, like no more fish sticks.
the whole time he's talking about some random video game that you've never played. You're like, dude, I just want to finish this social studies project on Hamilton. Please.
But sometimes sessions feel like that when like obviously it wasn't your choice to work with those people, and you're like, man, can we just call this a day?
100%. And that's what I meant in the intro when I look forward to our rights. I really mean that. Like, I, above all, you know, collaborative and music and stuff, even if we never work together again, I just want to hang out with you guys because you are good human beings. And I think that's the mark of people that you want to hang out with. Work with in the industry are people that you want to hang out with. Just people who genuinely get you as a person. And I think that's why songs get better when we work together, because we talk for 30 minutes before the session even starts because we're just genuinely curious about each other's lives. So I love it. I love working with you guys. I think without spilling the beans on the rest of this project I'm working on, I think there'll be a lot more of our collab stuff on there, which is super exciting. So can't wait for that.
How's the golf going, bro? How's
golf? Man, I played yesterday, and I have like these moments of brilliance where I'm like, I should be on the tour. I am so good. And then the next shot is that like duff 4-foot chip, or like skull it into the sand way over the green. So
up and down.
I'm inconsistent, but I tell you what, the number one thing I've learned is just to like, which sounds super cliche, just to have fun. Like I put way less pressure on the game. It just now is this like kind of fun thing. I played with my parents yesterday, so I enjoyed it.
Man, that's what I like to hear. Love it.
Yeah, you meet.
Do you guys both play?
I just started playing, but I mostly play for the beer cart. You know what I mean? But yeah,
exactly.
But, no, I've been playing with my girlfriend and her family are like avid golfers, so they're showing up like in the most impeccable golf outfits, and like, look at me, like I don't own anything golf. You know, I'm like the first person that's going to get kicked off the course for not buttoning my shirt up. But, yeah, no, but I played baseball growing up, so my swing is very baseball. So it's like I got the drive really well. Everything in between's terrible. And then in my hometown, you know, it's really boring, but we had a mini golf course. So that like every date you went on, or like every time you'd hang out with your friends, you go play mini golf. So my putting is really good. So I have the drive and the putt, but everything else in between is just like dodging puddles, dude.
You know what's funny is like that's actually not a bad place to be. I feel like chipping is a pretty easy like 5-6 trips to the driving range. Yeah. Driving is, I think, the hardest part of the game, and then putting, that's the classic adage, is like drive for show, putt for dough. So you're about to make that dough, dude.
The only way I've been keeping up with her family is I'm always like in on two because my mini game golf was so good.
He's yet to make
mini golf game, not my mini game golf. It's in my head. You're getting in my head, man. I'm gonna show up and just biff now for sure.
Well, next time I'm in LA, one, we need to like all get together in person and write, and then two, we'll go smack some golf balls into the water.
I'll drive the cart. I feel like you guys are far beyond my league.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Part of this show is just asking, you know, kind of random weird questions, because I'm sure you guys get interviews all the time where it's like, so tell me how you got your start, you know, blah, 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 just the surface level stuff. But I love to like ask some weird shit. So my first weird question to you is, if you could put anything into a pill that every human being has to take, like I'm talking like a thought, an emotion, you know, a piece of advice, what would you put in that pill? The world has to take it. What are you putting in your pill?
The smile pill.
Smile.
Everyone, imagine the whole world's walking around with a smile.
Just
that's me. I'm done.
Kicking it. That's nice. I want the smile pill. I think they call that ecstasy, Gus.
That too. A bit of that as well.
I was just going to make that joke. It's funny because I listen to your podcast, so I've thought about this question many, many times. And it's like, I had one the other day that was so good, and I was driving, and I'm like, I got to say this on Spencer's podcast, but I forgot it, which is going to lead me to what I'm going to say today. I think a memory pill would be the best thing, because I find not only what we do as songwriters, but there's so many moments I have growing up with my family, with my friends, in relationships that I wish I could almost replay like a movie in my mind. Do you know what I mean? And I think,
oh, dude, so
yeah,
bad.
And I think, yeah, it could be sad in times, to have to relive certain things, but that's what I love about books is you can get to chapter 10 and you can go back to chapter 2 and reread the same thing that you read, when you read it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Memories, you always go back and you tell the story slightly different, or you remember it slightly different. And that I would like a memory pill where I could get it exactly right. Yeah.
Dude, I have such a goldfish memory, especially as I'm getting older. I'm actually trying to tell my brain a different story. I've started to be like, I have a good memory, because I feel like that's half of my bad memories, that I keep saying I have bad memories. So I'm like, no, I have a good memory. But to trick my brain, I keep saying I have a good one. And it drives me crazy, because there'll be these moments and I'm like, man, if I could just smell the smells and see the sights and be there again. There's something so special. I'm sure we've all felt this way. You eat something or you smell something and it kicks. That's what's so cool about music, is you can listen to a song that you listened to in college or in high school for the first time in 8 years. And I'm just riding around in Ty Levine's red shitty truck, going out to the parties or whatever that night. I'm like, how did that memory just get accessed like that? I wish I had a little pill that could just do
man.
that.
That would be my pill. And because I think, we've all heard the adage, youth is wasted on the young. And that's really true, because you have all of these firsts, which are kind of cornerstone core memories. And they've happened so long ago, and usually at a time that you're either just finding out who you are, or you're figuring things out, or you're figuring out, what you want to say to the world. And you have these great memories that are kind of stifled by that, whether that's, an anxiety or whatever, when you're still searching for who you are.
Right.
Man, wouldn't it be great to be the age we are now and relive some of those things and be able to look around and stop and smell the roses, literally.
We took it for granted, Luke. We took it for granted.
Took it for granted.
What's your pill, mate?
What's my pill? I've given the self-awareness answer before, which is I wish everyone could really understand who they are and what they're good at, and that, they don't have to impress everybody. I think that's a good pill. But recently I would say I would give everyone the pill of just feeling rested, because I so desperately want this pill, which is if you could just eat, no matter what night's sleep you had, what food you had, what stress you have, that feeling of waking up on a Sunday when you're a kid and it feels like you slept for a year, and you're just whoa, your eyes open, you're just ready to rock, you're ready to go play. I haven't had that in a while, and I feel a lot of my friends are the same way. They're dude, I just can't catch up on sleep. I can't catch up on feeling rested. I always feel I want that extra day in the week, because by the time I get to Sunday, you want to go out and be with your friends and do all this stuff, but I need that extra rest day, true rest day, and I don't get it right now being on tour. So I would take that rest pill in heart.
That's a good one.
I just had an interview and they asked what is, in your definition, what is true success? And I'm like, true success is being able to take a nap in the middle of the day and your phone doesn't ring because everyone knows that you're sleeping and you need it. You know what I mean?
Dude,
to be able
1,000%. It's on your schedule, and everyone's
so
oh yeah, Luke's taking his nap.
They're he's sleeping, leave him.
Don't touch him. Yeah, we get fired. Call it,
dude. 1,000%. All right, I love all those answers. Here's my next question for you guys, and this is in the spirit of the song. What are your red flags? What are the things that people should look out for? And then we could talk about how you're working on them or if you've overcome them. They could be in the past, present, whatever. But on the spirit of the brand new single, Red Flags, what are your red flags?
Luke, after you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be careful. Be careful.
The thing that
Girlfriend's just sitting right next to him.
I know my girlfriend's got the gun right here, but no, the thing that I consistently let my girlfriend down on is cleanliness, because I'm 6'4", and this is my excuse, not a reason, an excuse. I don't see things on the floor. I never look at the floor. So if my socks are on the floor, if there's dust on the floor, if there's cat stuff on the floor, she's like, "How do you not see this? How do you not pick this up?" I'm like, "I'm telling you, I don't even know the last time I've looked at my feet. It's like a different zip code for me." So
you're in the clouds, baby. You ain't looking at that dirt.
Dodge the red flag. Dodge the question.
Messiness.
So your red flag is cleanliness.
Is definitely my red flag. I live in complete chaos. I never do the same thing twice. I set my alarms for different times. I don't eat the same thing when I go to restaurants. I don't eat the same thing for breakfast. I try to live in total chaos because I find it makes me kind of creative. But that is not great when your girlfriend is very OCD about cleanliness. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And she's right. Believe me, like I need to be doing that. That is definitely a red flag.
Hey, it's that self-awareness pill. You already took it, my friend.
I did, but I'm working on it. Like my stuff is folded now. Like I'm evolving. You know what I mean? I have a list on my phone that I do every morning, like to get the stuff clean. But I don't have the awareness to walk around and be like, that needs to be done. I need to be told. I'm like a 14-year-old kid that needs a chore list. Yeah.
That's
totally
red
it. Totally.
That's good.
I'm totally the opposite to Luke. My red flag is like basically what Luke's talking about. Like if there's someone who like lacks discipline, this is the two things. Is like someone who like, for instance, is like lazing around on a I'm really intense about this sort of thing, but if someone's like lazing around on a weekend, like trying to get brunch at like 11 a.m. and they're not out of bed, like attacking the morning, that's not for me. And then also it's the boredom thing. I was with Luke yesterday and we were talking about it. Like, I can't stand people that say I'm bored. Like that for me, if you say you're bored with yourself. You're not bored. You just haven't locked in, and maybe that's something I need to work on. But like that for me is like the biggest turnoff in the world, right there.
So your red flag is you find other people's red flags.
Yeah.
Your red flag is particularity or pickiness.
I hate this about people, and I hate this. So
wait, red flag means like it's if they say something, it's like, oh gosh, right?
Yeah, but what's your red flag? What should people watch out for you?
My personal red flag. Oh, I thought red flag as in like what I see in other people.
That's hilarious. Again, Gus is single.
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. That's my red flag. I'm too intense. Maybe that's my red flag.
I would never let Nate Gus.
The tough part is certain. Yeah, never. I feel like I feel the same way. Gus, I feel the same way as you, where sometimes I feel too intense, but for the right person, it can be a green flag. And I think you're going to attract the person who wants to get up on a Sunday at 8 a.m. and like get their shit together, or is like, I'm not bored because I have something to work on. And I would agree with you, Gus, that like, I don't care if people are bored and they are very happy, but it is always shocking to me when someone who's really unhappy and they're like, I have this massive goal. They're like, oh, dude, I was just so bored this week. I'm like, what do you mean? You had a full week to not be bored and work on the thing. So I get that. I get that one.
Thanks, Benny. I feel better now. That could be a green flag. I like that.
I got
that.
you.
Yeah. I'm going to call this podcast every week now.
Yeah, I mean, for certain people, red flags or green flags, like, what I do for a living, what you guys do for a living is a big old red flag to a lot of people.
Oh, my God.
To be a creative, to travel as much, to want to be living on buses or playing venues. Like, it's not for everybody, but for the right person, they'll love it. So it's always tough to know, like, is this a red flag in general, or is it just a red flag for this particular human?
That's
so
true.
Is that yours then, Spenny, you reckon? That's your red flag or what?
Man, how much time do we have? My red flag is probably like workaholism. Yeah. That I really love what I do. And I love this podcast. I love my music. I love creating, being in the studio, writing, all that stuff, and it just doesn't leave a ton of time for other things. And so I shut things down at the start level because I'll be like, well, yeah, I could go on a date, but like I could also post 12 TikToks, do my laundry, finish that second verse and fire off some emails. So the tough part is that is not fair to humans who like, because I'm the same way on a first date, I'm not going to like blow somebody's mind. Like it takes a while to like get to know each other and enjoy each other's company. And so sometimes I'll like cut stuff off because I'm like, this is my red flag. I'll convince myself I don't have time. I don't have time for anything outside of music because I have this huge dream. I have and I say this and it's good in certain extents, which is, I have a 1% dream, so I got to take 1% actions. That's just the truth. If you want to play a stadium, cool. Everyone wants to play a stadium. What's going to set you apart? But, which is awesome. And I'm doing that. Unfortunately, it doesn't leave a ton of time to be like, hey, let's just take Saturday off. Let's just go to the park and grab ice cream. And that's what a lot of people get to do. And right now I'm on tour. So especially right now, my red flag is like, oh yeah, I'd love to hang out and get to know you, except for I can pepper you in for 1 hour on Tuesday night.
Right.
It's so specific.
But maybe you'll find someone who also agrees with that, and you guys will actually work better together. That makes sense. So some of your workload will actually be accented by that person.
I mean, Luke, you're the one who actually does it. Tell us about how you make it work, or how you're learning while you're doing it, because you are. For those of you who don't know, Luke is also an incredible actor, and he travels around all the time, and you'll be on sets. Yep. Correct me if I'm wrong. You'll be on sets for months, like weeks at a time. Yeah. I'm sure your girlfriend's name is Kirby, correct?
And she, Kirby Johnson. Yeah. And she's also an actress and very involved in the entertainment space. But what I found was I was on the same boat as you guys. I remember Kirby and I were friends for a long time, and I didn't want to date her because I thought, I'm going to be too busy and I'm going to destroy this wonderful friendship that we have because I'm not going to be able to be a good boyfriend, an attentive boyfriend. And then two things really happened. We started dating, and I realized a lot of my goals were also her goals. And so the more that we worked together, she would help me and I would help her. So I found myself getting ready faster, or like, if I was writing a song and there was just one lyric, if I was just pacing around singing it, she might hear something and just give it to me, and vice versa. We help each other with self-tapes. We help each other with things like that. And I realized, sometimes when you work together, then you can enjoy little moments. And I also think the second thing is that I have so much more to write songs about because I'm in love with somebody. And that's a lot of what people want to hear is about relationships, because that's usually when people turn to music. And because I'm able to constantly have the female perspective on my problems or my joys, I have a lot to pull from. And that's been really helpful to my songwriting.
Dude, I love that. And something that I learned kind of like when I first moved to Nashville was to have the female perspective, especially when, a predominant part of our target audiences are probably in that 18 to 35, whatever. This is us getting like too businessy, but like that is a reality for us. But then to not ever have a woman's eye or ear or brain on something can be really bad. Like sometimes I hear songs come out and I'll be like, I feel like that was a bunch of guys who wrote what a girl wants to hear, but that's not what a girl wants to hear. And I have really awesome women in my life who like, I actually, just like you guys, they're so important in my creative process because they're incredible songwriters who I'll be like, in the room, we're writing a great song, and I'll be like, what if I said this? And she's like, ooh, that's kind of creepy, actually. I'm like, oh, is it? Like,
no, you're right.
It's good, dude. It's
and
true.
Vice versa, and that's something that I found with Kirby is like just sitting and working on projects with her. All of a sudden, you start getting feedback, and you find you're working less but getting more done because you already have a perspective that, and I mean, like, let's just just cut the crap, girls are a lot better at stuff that has to do with emotion. I really believe that. I think they really hear things differently in music, and it's so beautiful. And when you can be in a relationship and have a friendship with one, it's like, man, you get stuff done so much more effectively. And you don't have that doubt in your head, like, is this going to come across wrong? Like you're saying.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you guys for being on. I just have one more question for you, and then I'll let you guys bounce. Before we even get into that, I just want to say how much fun I have working with you guys. Red Flags has been such a fun journey, and like from then to now, I feel like we've gotten so close. So I can't wait to write a ton more stuff. I think there's a couple songs that we've written and that we're gonna write that will end up being on this next thing too. So you'll probably become staple guests on Why Are We Here, because we'll probably just do this 9 more times.
I love it. I love the sound of that. It's mutual.
Absolutely.
Bro.
Dude, thanks, man. I love you guys. My last question for you guys is, what is the number one thing that you don't give yourself enough credit for?
Should we say that about each other?
Yeah,
that's nice.
That's great. Okay, since you guys are band married, you must now look at your band husband and tell them, what don't you give yourself enough credit for?
That's really good.
Good twist, guys.
You know what? There is some creative genius in here after all. It's not just a nerd, huh? Nothing.
Yeah, right. I was going to say, all right, I'm flattered. Well, I can go first because I know what you don't give yourself credit enough for sure.
Okay.
I really think, and it goes back to what we're talking, I don't think Gus gives himself credit for he doesn't need to spend every ounce of his day getting things right, because most of the time his first instinct is right. A lot of times I think you go and overthink things, or you compare yourself to another producer or another song, and I'm like, dude, it was right the first time. I think no one has ever been as talented and uniquely yourself as you. And usually your first demo that you send over is just as strong as the finished mix, and sometimes you stray away from it to get to the end because you're listening to other people's opinions. And I'm like, dude, your instinct is number one. For sure.
Ooh, take that.
Yeah.
I got that tattooed on me.
Look at that.
Okay, I mean, I have a couple, but I think the number one thing for me is the thing you don't give yourself credit for, I think, is like your own lyricism. I think although you're always a songwriter, you do take, if someone has an opinion or like something, you will let their opinion sometimes exude your own. And it's the same thing where it's like our best songs, every single like lyrical moment is your lyrical moment. And again, we tweak them, and people have their opinions, and say an A&R comes in or a manager comes in, it's like, that's not the one for me actually, like I want to tweak it. I think if we have something that you feel super strong about lyrically, or even like in the movies and in the music videos, your like creative start is normally what we should finish with. And I think that is something you don't give yourself credit for.
Thanks, guys.
What's cool is you guys have the exact same thing about each other, which is trust your gut and your instincts, which you guys, I'll expect to bill you both for the marriage counseling that was taking place today.
Yeah. I was just going to say, we really got somewhere there for sure.
Yeah, you know what it is?
It's actually
we're
great.
Extremely arrogant. We both take credit for everything we do, so that's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. You're great. You're great.
Luke has...
No, you're great. No, your instincts
Luke
right.
could just hype himself. I hype myself up,
Look here, I'm the outside guy now, so I can chip in. I think you're both right in that you guys both have a very unique style and way to make music from a lyrical standpoint, from a melody standpoint, from a production standpoint. And you guys have a gut that isn't like other people's guts. So some people might tell you to do stuff differently, and have a wise counsel. Have people that you trust, that when you send them a mix, when you send them a lyric, that you trust their ideas. But I would agree with both of you about both of you, which is just trust your gut, man. It's there. The things are there. I'll always strive for what's next and what's better. And obviously that's what we do. And that's why we're here. But I'll say this, you guys have a very unique sound. In my songs, it pokes through like Red Flags, feels like Red Flags because of you guys. In your songs, it pokes through because it sounds like you guys, and nobody can create that thing like you two can when it's your little milkshake of everything blended up, Gus and Luke. So it's great, man. I'm a huge fan of you guys. I keep listening to all the WAWH stuff, and I would tell everybody to go check it out, stream it, give these guys a follow. Even if you just want just eye candy from the both of them. They're just very handsome gentlemen. So check them out.
Thank you, Spencer. I gotta say one thing that you don't give yourself enough credit for, and this is something I've been saying for a long time. Spencer, you are so funny, man. You are genuinely so funny. And in today's world as musicians, like I think growing up, we didn't expect us to have to be, influencers. And that's the way that we sell music now. Yeah. And your page always makes me laugh. I never cringe like I do with most people that are trying to be funny. You are genuinely hilarious, and that's something that I don't think most people would expect from a singer-songwriter,
Yeah, man. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. You guys are the best, and again, this is what great collaborators do. They just lift each other up, and it's hard to find genuine champions. I mean, you guys know you're in LA, and I think it's even more competitive and more cutthroat than Nashville. And so it's just good to have people who lift you up and who get you and who are just real fans. Again, if we never worked together again, I would still tell people to go stream your music because it rocks, and I would still just want to hang and golf and fuck around because I love you guys. So I appreciate you very much. Yeah, you're in the stadium gang.
I've been telling people to stream your music before I even moved to LA, before I even, knew that you were a cool dude. And now I really scream it from the.
Well, here's the deal. You guys are in the stadium gang. You're going to be on the stadium stage with me one day because we're going to be bringing you out for Red Flags and all the other songs that we have together. So people get ready for all of the collabs we have coming, guys. As always, it is a pleasure to just see you on my calendar. I woke up today. I was like, what do I have? And I'm like,
likewise.
Fuck. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to these guys. So we love you. We appreciate you.
Bye, Spencer. Thank you so much for having us.
All right, y'all. Another episode of Why Are We Here? I love those guys. They are so fun and genuine and just I said it in the episode, but just my favorite names to see on my calendar. And it's so rare in the industry that we have to just click with guys like that. So go check out their music. It's Voila. I think it's Voilla. No, Voila. And the A has the little, thing over it because it's Voila. Check out their music. I would say start with Figure You Out and then check out their brand new single, Imaginary Friends, because it's dope. It's with Hey Violet. Follow them on Instagram at Luke Eisner, at Gus Ross, and make sure to follow us on Instagram at WhyAreWeHere_podcast. Tell us how you like the episode, and we love you guys. Thanks for checking it out. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Season 3 is almost over, but we will start Season 4 and get a bunch of awesome guests that I have lined up coming soon. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Much love. Bye-bye.
Don't you dare tell me this time's different. I don't buy it, baby. We can't fix this. I ain't going back to what we had. I took off my rose-colored glasses. Now see your red flag.